Welcome back, guys. Astro Commander here. I am bringing you guys a Melffy deck profile today. This is definitely the cutest deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! I made this so if my girlfriend ever would decide she wants to play, she is more than welcome to play. But I also kind of enjoy this deck as well. But without further ado, I play 3 copies of the Melffy Wally. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can special summon 2 Melffy monsters from your deck with different names from each other, except Melffy Wally. During your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect of Melffy Wally once per turn. So, this is going to drop at the end of your turn, because you can special summon it at the end, and then you can use its effects. And then play 3 copies of the new card of Melffy Rabbies. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can fusion summon 1 Melffy fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Melffy from your deck to your hand. Then, if you added a normal monster, which is why we play 1 copy of the original Rabby, so that way this part of the effect can pop off, you can special summon any number of beast monsters from your hand. So, if you have a handful of Melffys, and then you search the normal monster, then you can summon the rest of the Melffys in your hand. So it's mainly just used for the effect of this card, but we only play 1 of it because it is kind of a brick. We then play 3 copies of Melffy Caddy. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can add 1 beast monster from your deck to your hand except for Caddy. During the end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect of Melffy Caddy once per turn. So just a little more setup there, I would say. We then play 3 copies of Melffy Puppy. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck except for Puppy. During your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. So most of the Melffys will have that effect of special summoning this card from your hand at the end phase, but you just have to remember then to actually use their effects once you get to that point. We then play 2 copies of Melffy Penny. If a face-up beast monster you control return to the hand this turn except Melffy Penny, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, immediately after this card resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using this card you control and Melffy monsters in your hand during the end phase. So, easy way to synchro summon off of this card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Beast Xyz monster you control, attach this card to it as material. You can only use each effect of Melffy Penny once per turn. And then play 1 Melffy Fenny. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can special summon 1 beast monster from your hand except Melffy Fenny. During your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect of Melffy Fenny once per turn. And then play 1 copy of Melffy Pony. If your opponent's normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can add one level 2 or lower beast monster from your graveyard to your hand, except for Pony. During your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect of Melffy Pony once per turn. And then we play the one copy of the vanilla of Melffy Rabby. Like I said earlier in the video, this is mainly just for the combo piece for the Melffy Rabbies, the new card, because you have to search a vanilla monster, so this is the only vanilla in this deck. But it is a generic card that you really break on if you pull it. So hopefully it's still in your deck, because you can then search it with the Melffy Rabbies to actually make it worth your while. And then for the non-Melffy monsters in this deck, we play 2 copies of Cernemecia, Mystical Beast of the Forest. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can banish face-up 1 beast monster from your hand or face-up field until the end phase. Special summon 1 earth monster from your deck or graveyard with equal or lower level than that monster's original level. Then your opponent can special summon 1 monster from their hand. You can only use this effect of Cernemecia once per turn. Your opponent's monsters that can attack must attack monsters you control with the highest attack, their choice of type. We then play 2 copies of Valorfond, the Mystical Beast of the Forest. You can discard 1 card, then target 1 level 2 or lower beast monster in your graveyard except Valorfond. Special summon it in attack position or face down defense position. You can only use each effect or this effect of Valorfond once per turn. So that's a good recursion from the graveyard. Helps you get some special summons out. We then play 2 copies of Calantoza, Mystical Beast of the Forest. If this card is special summoned by the effect of a beast monster, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. You could probably run this card at 1. I run it at 2, but this is just a free pop if you can special summon it. We then play 1 copy of Hoppier Squadron, because this card is amazing for synchros. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using only this card you control and that target. You can only use this effect of Hoppier Squadron once per turn. So this is a good way to allow you to synchro summon on your opponent's turn, not just your own. And then for the last of the monsters, we play 3 copies of Rescue Cat. This is a very good generic card for any beast deck you play. Send this face-up card to on your side of the field to the graveyard to special summon 2 level 3 or lower beast-type monsters from your deck to the field. The monster special summoned in this way are destroyed during the end phase. So a good thing with this is to bring them in, link them off, or bring them in and start doing your synchros or your fusions or any of that. But it's a good way to get extra bodies on the board. So that's why I run him at 3, because it is a great card to allow you to get more bodies onto the board to help you out. So then for the spell cards, we play 3 copies of the new Melffy Footsteps. Add up to 4 Melffy monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. Then it becomes the end phase of this turn. But remember, a lot of the cards list that at the end phase you can special summon this Melffy monster. So keep that in mind. So if you get the 4, make sure you choose 4 of them that at the end phase can then summon themselves. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 2 Melffy cards in your graveyard except Melffy Footsteps. Add 1 of them to your hand, and if you do, place the other on the bottom of your deck. You can only use this effect of footsteps once per turn. You cannot special summon monster or the turn you activate this card, except Melffy monsters, which the entire deck, except for the couple extra monsters, are all Melffy monsters. So that's not too big of a letdown. We then play 2 copies of Melffy Staring Contest. You can reveal 1 beast monster in your hand, add 1 Melffy with a different name from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and place that revealed monster on the bottom of the deck. So it's just a recursion. You can basically swap out 1 card in your deck with another. You can only use this effect of Melffy Staring Contest once per turn. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can reveal any number of Melffy monsters in your hand and keep them revealed during this battle phase. Monsters your opponent control loses attack equal to the combined attack and defense of the monsters revealed by this effect. So I don't really think they have that much attack and defense. So you want to reveal 2 or 3 of them, but that will stack on top of each other and might give you the advantage you need to weaken their monsters just enough for them not to be able to swing over you. We then play 2 copies of Melffy Tag. I think this card is pretty good. You target 1 Melffy monster in your graveyard, special summon it. It's basically a monster reborn for this archetype, but you can only use 1 per turn, so that's why we only run it at 2, because you don't want to get multiple copies in your hand at once, because then you break. We then play 2 copies of Melffy Hide and Seek. The first time each beast monster you control would be destroyed by card effect each turn, it is not destroyed, which is good because this entire deck is all beast monsters. You can target 3 beast monsters in your graveyard with different names, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. You can only use this effect of Melffy Hide and Seek once per turn. And then for the non-Melffy spells, we play 2 copies of Ayer's Rock Sunrise. Target 1 beast monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, and if you do, all face-up monsters your opponent currently control lose 200 attack for each beast, plant, and wing beast monster currently in your graveyard until the end of this turn. You can only activate 1 Ayer's Rock Sunrise per turn. So you can weaken them with this and with the Hide and Seek. Weaken them enough and hopefully be able to swing for game with your boss monsters. And then we played the 1 copy, since it's only allowed at 1, of Obedience Schooled. If you control no monsters, special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast effect monsters with different names from your deck, but their effects are negated. Also, they are destroyed during the end phase. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except beast monsters. So that's not a big concern because 9 times out of 10 you will have a beast monster on the field, and you don't really have many others. You have a couple in the extra deck that I believe aren't beast monsters, but besides that, you don't have to worry about that beast monster stipulation being any much of a hindrance to you. And then for the traps, we play 2. We play 1 copy of Melffy Playhouse. Detach any number of materials from a beast XZ's monster you control, then target up to that many cards in your opponent's control. Return them to the hand. Also, all beast XZ's monsters you control gain 500 attack for each material detached to activate this card. So, it says monsters. So if you have multiple XZ's and you detach, say, 4, they gain 500 attack for each material detached, and that's each one of your XZ's monsters. So you can gain 2,000 attack on each of those. This helps you so you're able to swing over people for game. Great card to play, but since it's a trap, I only play it as 1. And then I play 1 of the new Melffy Playtime Surprise. Target 1 Melffy monster in your field or graveyard. Return it to the hand. Then you can fusion summon 1 beast fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. If you control a Melffy XZ's monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard for the rest of this turn. Melffy monsters you control that are special summoned from the extra deck are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. It doesn't say spell effects, doesn't say monster effects, just says effects. So it's unaffected by any card basically it can be thrown at. You can only use each effect of Melffy Playtime Surprise once per turn. And that is it for the main deck. We'll move on to the extra deck. We play 2 copies of the new Melffy Godmommy. This card, once per turn, you can also XZ summon Melffy Godmommy using Melffy Mommy. You control, transfer its materials. So if you summon this on top of your Melffy Mommy, it continues to keep the materials that Melffy Mommy had before. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Melffy spell trap from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Gains attack equal to the combined attack and defense of Melffy monsters attached to it. You can detach 5 materials from this card. Return all cards your opponent controls to the hand. So it's a good board wipe if you can get 5 materials. Otherwise, it at least gains the attack and defense of Melffy monsters attached to it. So you'll always want to synchro this with Melffy monsters. We then play 2 copies of Melffy Mommy, like I said in the last card. Once per turn, quick effect, you can attach 1 beast monster from your hand or face-up field to this card as material. This card gains effects based on the number of materials attached to this card. Cannot be destroyed by battle if you have 3+. 4+, you take no damage from battles involving this card. 5+, when an attack is declared involving this card and an attack position monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack monster or attack position monster's attack. So, this is another one of your powerhouses. Might not seem like it with the 1000 stats, but remember you can also layer Godmommy over that. We then play 2 copies of Melffy of the Forest. You can detach 1 material from this card, add 1 Melffy card from your deck to your hand. If another face-up Melffy monster you control returns to your hand, except the damage step, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated while it is face-up on the field. You can only use each effect of Melffy of the Forest once per turn. And keep this in mind. Here it says you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated. The second part of that says while it's face-up on the field. It does not say till the end of the turn. Does not say till the end of their turn. That is a permanent effect while it is face-up. So if they flip it down and flip it back up, it is technically over at that point because it did flip down and then came back face-up. So you'd have to retarget with that effect. And then for the last of the XZ's Melffy monsters, we play 1 or 2 copies of Joyous Melffys. You can detach 1 material from this card. Your Melffy monsters cannot attack can attack directly this turn. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target 1 Beast XZ's monster you control. Return that monster to the extra deck. Then you can special summon level 2 or lower Beast monsters from your graveyard up to the number of materials that monster had. You can only use this effect of Joyous Melffys once per turn. So if you need extra bodies to do a different play and you don't like what you're currently doing, send that XZ back, use its materials to either XZ into another card, fusion into another card, synchro into another card, whatever you want to do. And then for the rest of the XZ's monsters we play, we only play 1 more that's not a archetype specific, and that is number 64, Ronin Raku Sandu. And then once per turn, you can detach 1 XZ material from this card. Special summon 1 Kagamashu Raccoon token, Beast, Earth, level 1, attack !, defense 0. When summoned, its attack becomes equal to the current attack of the monster on the field that has the highest attack. So this is a good way to be able to match a opponent. If you summon it, have the same, and if it is allowed to be destroyed by battle, you can just swing into it and destroy both the token and that heavy hitter. So that is a great way to get rid of problematic cards in this deck. While you control another beast type monster, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So this card has protection as well as being able to summon that token. I then play 2 copies of the Synchro Merry Melffys. If this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field, return it to the hand. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the extra deck. Then you can special summon one Melffy XZ's monster from your extra deck. You can only use each effect of Merry Melffy's once per turn. A lot of the things in this deck are bouncing one card back to bring another card out to basically make them repeat their target or call off their attack, one of the two. I then play one copy of Stellar Wind Wolfrit. You can only control one Wolfrit, gains 300 attack each time another monster's effect is activated. It doesn't say your opponent's, and you activate a lot of effects in this deck, so this guy can pop off and gain a lot of attack, plus his second effect here is great when he has enough effects activated. Wow, the attack of this card is less than 4,000 once per turn. If the attack of this card is 4,000 or higher, quick effect, you can shuffle both this card and all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. So this is a board wipe. If you activate, I think it's what, 3 or 4 effects, maybe 5 if my math is correct. This card already is set up and is at 4,000. Allows you to set up that battle and wipe the board. Then we play 2 copies of Melffy's Joyful Surprise. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target an equal number of Melffy cards you control and cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can target one beast monster in your opponent's grave or in your graveyard. Reduce this card level by exactly 2, and if you do, special summon that target. So it's just a good way to get more bodies back on the field. A lot of this deck, that's what it is. This deck is a swarm deck. It will swarm the field with bodies to keep making more plays off of the said bodies. And then for the last card, we play 1 copy of Mrs. Radiant. This is the only link we play, but it's a great card because all earth monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense, and I believe every single monster in this deck is an earth monster. Also, all wind monsters on the field do 400 attack and defense. I don't really think there's any massive wind decks out there right now that I can think of off the top of my head, but it's a good decrease for them if there is a card on the field. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one earth monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So you can recur cards from the deck or from the graveyard back to your hand upon this card's destruction. You can only use this effect of Mrs. Radiant once per turn. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I think this is the cutest deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! I love this deck just for the aesthetic purposes alone. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you would leave a like, comment, and subscribe, it would help me out greatly as I am just starting out. But until next week, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed and have a great day.